Hi, my name is Arun Shankaranarayanan. I run LTI's business in the Nordics. Today I'm with Henrik Tustrup, the CIO of Solar Enterprises. Thanks, Henrik, for making the time to talk to LTI. Can I start by requesting you to provide a quick introduction about yourself and Solar?
Sure. Yeah, my name is Henrik and I'm, as you said, the CIO of Solar. I've been in Solar for about 4 years. Before that I was working in AP Maersk and other companies. Solar is a wholesale company. We have a revenue of about 12 billion Danish crowns, which is equal 1.78 million euros. We are located in Denmark, Sweden, Norway, Poland and Holland. And we are selling products for installers and industry and these kinds. So we don't do any production, but we are a retailer, you can say, or wholesaler company.
So LTI has been partnering with Solar for over 3 years now. So in your perception, how has the partnership been? How has the journey been so far?
The journey so far has been extremely good. We started out having you coming in. It was new to Solar, I should say. This about doing co-sourcing or outsourcing was something new for Solar. So we started small, but especially on the SAP area. But quite quickly we could see the benefits of what you could bring. And then we invited you to participate in our EWM implementation because we could see you brought a lot of values and knowledge to us that we could use in that product.
So maybe let's dive deeper into the SAP EWM program. So if you could maybe elaborate a little bit on what were the business challenges that you were trying to solve with the EWM program?
Mm-hmm. There was a different sets of problems. There was one problem was that it was running the current VMS system we had was running on old technology. It was based on KICS. It became more and more expensive to run, of course, and it couldn't really support us in the journey we want to take in terms of running efficient warehouse management in the different countries. So that was one area, and the other area was that it was not giving us effective way of running our warehouses. The way we did it was a little bit different from country to country, of warehouse to warehouse. Mm-hmm. So we saw a big opportunity for us to kind of make the same way of doing things in the countries.
So bring about consistency and harmonization.
Exactly.
Yeah. So maybe you can talk a little bit about the project itself in terms of how the project was executed and where the results that you were expecting to achieve from the project, were you able to achieve those results? And maybe as part of that, you can maybe elaborate a little bit on what was LTI's role in helping you achieve those objectives.
Yeah. Well, it started out that, as I said before, because we have a platform that was not a good way to support our business. So we decided to go the SAP EWM solution. And when we had kind of decided to go in that direction, we of course talked to you guys about helping us out. So we started to do some blueprint and figure out what to do, because this was a solution that was going to be implemented in all the countries. So we wanted to make sure that the way we worked also could support our business. So we made a very good team with you guys. You came up with some very knowledgeable people and helped us starting the projects together with the IT, and of course the business was involved. And we created a very, very good team that was able to facilitate the journey, and LTI was very good in asking questions and challenge us in the way we were thinking. I tried to, push us a little bit, because you had the knowledge about SAP EWM and knew what it could do, and we could use that knowledge to do changes. So I think it was kind of we made a contract, and I think we put the contract in the drawer because we didn't need it, and it turned out extremely well. The way we worked together, it was a true partnership, I would say. That we had huge respect for your guys and your knowledge, and you also have respect for our knowledge about our business, and it worked out extremely well. That's for sure. And the whole thing about when you could see we could benefit, for example, using SAP Fiori. You suggested that instead of this process that was a little bit cumbersome, why don't we use SAP Fiori to do these, to simplify the way people work, and that was extremely good.
Wonderful. I'm glad to know that the LTI team did sort of met your expectations in terms of what the project objectives were. So at the end of the obviously it's a very large and complex project for you, and you had certain objectives that you had set out to achieve with the project. Can you talk about some of the business benefits that the project itself was able to bring about to Solar?
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of benefits. First of all, we now have a modern platform that we can work on. We now have a dashboard where we can actually see the performance of the warehouses, which is very, very good for us in order to see, is it going in the right direction. We have a much better way of working at the warehouses. People can see the benefits, and it has actually meant that the warehouse people actually come with suggestions. Can we do it in this direction, or do this, or do that, which enable us to be even more efficient. And I think that's extremely well, because it's a living system. And yes, we have developed version 1.0, but of course we want to continue developing.
Now, in terms of the project implementation itself for this project, can you maybe shed some light in terms of how you went about sort of implementing the project?
Yeah, I think originally we all thought about the standard waterfall method of delivering, and of course we were a little bit afraid, because it's quite a huge project, and we asked you to come up with some price, and there's also a certain uncertainty. But I think we managed to, Solar together with you, we managed to do a project module where we implemented it in an agile way that reduced a lot of risk for us in terms of financial things, but also in terms of implementation. And I think that worked extremely well, because you were very willing to adapt to this way, and you can also see some benefits. And so we kind of chopped the implementation up to some specific phases. And we kind of iterated through it, and the result was that the end result was actually that we achieved it on the deadline. I mean, you and we all met the deadline, and also the financial budget was met, and that was extremely good. It gave a lot of calmness in the rest of an organization that we were able to achieve that, because that was some of the risk and some of the things that we're very aware of could change.
Right. Now I'm glad to know that we were able to deliver the project on budget and timelines. So what's the next step for you in the SAP journey? What are you planning to do?
We of course need to look into this SAP for HANA. We have a ECC platform that is running out of support. I think it's in 2027, and it's a journey, and it's going to be together with you guys, because you have a lot of knowledge about it. But it's also going to be together with the business, because it's as you also know, then SAP for HANA is not an IT project. It's definitely also a business project. And so we are going to do that, and then we are going to look at the whole application landscape we have to see if there's application that we can move into SAP to benefit from having fewer suppliers.
Right. So we talked a little bit about the project. We talked a little bit about LTI's contribution to the project. I want to kind of understand from you and your extended team and the business team, in terms of how is the working relationship with the LTI team. We obviously brought in a lot of people from outside of Denmark. So how did that kind of working model sort of evolve, and any experiences from that perspective?
Sure. It's a very good question. As I said before, Solar was not used to having people from outside Europe to help them out. So there was some cultural things that need to be care of. But so in the beginning it was a little bit, people were afraid that am I going to lose the job or not. But when they found out that you guys are very skilled and they could actually learn something and they didn't lose their job, then they started to lose up. And right now we have a fantastic relationship where we basically don't see any difference. We believe that the people we have from you guys are more or less the same as Solar people, and they're invited for different events as well. And they are taking into, we ask them about questions and they reply back. And I think that's one of the good thing about you guys is that you have a very good understanding of the Nordic culture. The people we have had on the projects and on the AMS part is very European, meaning that they actually challenge you. Mm-hmm. And not just say, yes, I will do it. If they believe it's wrong, they will say, this is wrong. Mm-hmm. I think we should do it like this. And that is very, very good. I really like that.
Yeah. No, I'm glad to hear that at least our team has been sort of working with you in a sort of culturally aligned manner. I think we take a lot of pride and a lot of steps in terms of making sure that there's some cultural sensitivity that, people outside of Europe, when they come and work on projects in Europe, they're bringing that and they kind of understand the kind of cultural nuances of the clients that we work with. So I'm glad that sort of came across in this particular project. And to your point about the LTI staff being part of extended sort of Solar IT team, and I think our team also reciprocates that feeling. I think they feel that they are really part of the family. They are kind of invited to pretty much all the events and all the functions that you conduct. So I really want to thank you as well in terms of supporting our team and kind of treating them as if it's part of your extended team. So appreciate that. So I need to maybe ask a few questions given the times that we're living in terms of how is COVID impacting Solar in general, and is there any approaches that you're taking both from a business perspective and from an IT perspective as we go through these interesting times?
You can say from a business perspective, of course we can see that we are affected by the COVID-19. We of course also need to think differently, or the business need to think differently how we do things. From a IT perspective, you can say a lot of our people are working from home, and that's also relevant for the business. But from IT, we have actually seen an increase in the productivity. Mm-hmm. And I think it's due to that people are more focused when they work from home. And they are not interrupted a lot. They can focus on what they're doing and just finish the job they are working on. However, there's always a trade-off, because you're also losing the social interaction with your colleague. And this about, that people from the business could just drop by and ask you a question. It's not the same, they need to call. So you can see from IT's perspective, I think this is a very good understanding that yes, it is possible to work from home or work remote. And I'm sure that in the future that is what's going to happen more and more.
Yeah. Speaking of COVID, I know one of the things that we worked very closely with your team and the business team was to do the Norway warehouse implementation almost entirely remotely.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, it was. We came with that situation that we were not able to put people in Norway due to this COVID-19. So we needed to figure out how can we implement the system up there, going live, having support for the business. And then we worked out in cooperation a way to do this. So we installed a lot of cameras, video cameras in the warehouse, and had people sitting in Denmark giving overview of what's going up. So whenever something was wrong, you were able, or the project was able to help them how to work. And we only sent 2 people to Norway to help out in order to make things work. But that worked out quite well, and I think it was really an eye-opener for a lot of people that it's possible to do this big change remotely. And that's something we are probably going to do when we roll it out now in Holland within the couple of next month.
Yeah. No, as I was telling you earlier, I think that's also been our experience as well, in terms of we have been able to sort of pretty much overnight switch from working from office to working from home. We also see an increase in productivity in our staff, both on site here in Denmark as well as sitting in India. But over a period of time, in terms of building new relationships and building better connects or newer connects, with newer colleagues, I think that it takes a lot longer, if you have to do that remotely.
Yeah.
Sustaining a relationship becomes a lot easier.
Yeah.
But building new relationships sometimes is a challenge.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I just had a new guy starting this week actually. And the way normally we do introduction, that he visits the department and I give introduction, and this time I had to do it virtually. But it actually worked okay. So sometimes you need to challenge yourself about what works and what does not.
Absolutely. I'm sure we're all going to learn new things as we go through this process. So I have no further questions, Henrik. I really want to thank you for the partnership, for the support you've extended to the team, and I'm really glad that the important journey that we embarked upon together, we have been able to provide value to you, and we have been able to successfully deliver that. And we really look forward to continuing to be your partner as you embark on further transformation within Solar business, enabling that through IT and the SAP programs and things of that nature. So thanks again for your support.
Thank you.
Thanks.